Okay, let's talk about the simple text adventure game. So as you can see here, it's a simple text adventure game in the spirit of Zork or Scott Adams Adventures. Let's take a look at what those are. You're given a URL here. We'll go there. And there's some games here. Zork, Adventureland, others. Here's Adventureland. And the way the game works is you're given a description of where you're at, and you get to enter commands that are usually of the form verb, noun. And you try to navigate this world and solve some kind of puzzle. In this case, I'm in a forest and I can go north, south, east, west, and up. I can see some trees. And for instance, I can climb a tree and now I'm in a branch and I can see a meadow to the east. Cool. So I'll go down and now I'm in these trees and I'll go east and sure enough, I'm in the meadow. And there's a sleeping dragon. I can wake the dragon and the dragon woke up. Now I'm in a misty room, and so on. Okay, that was this game. And then there's Zork, which is quite a classic. And there's there's a mailbox, and I'll open the mailbox. And there's a leaflet in the mailbox. Cool. So I'll read the leaflet, and there we go. We're off and running. Okay, so there it is. Now I'll show you this game, and we'll actually play this game briefly. Here's the way the game is played. I run it. By the way, this is just a really simple sample game. So the simple example game, you can tell because it says so. The goal is to drink water. You can press enter for help. If I press enter, it just tells me the things that I can do. Help, look, go north, south, east, west, get, put, pour, drink, and quit. Great. So I'm in the kitchen, and I can see a picture. The goal is to drink water. I'll just try to drink the water. And it says, I'm not carrying a glass of water. We have to find a glass. Okay, maybe we'll go east, and now we're in the family room, and I can see nothing. I'll go south, and now we're in the study, and I can see a glass. Wonderful. I will drink water. I'm still not carrying the glass. For that, I have to get the glass. Now, notice I am carrying a glass, plus whatever that frog is. Now I'll drink the water. I can't do that because the glass is not full. Oh, I had to get that pitcher. I'll go north. And I'm back in the kitchen. And if you were following things, that might have surprised you. But the map doesn't have to perfectly correspond to a real world map, even though it's actually possible to draw a picture where this one would. Okay, so now I want to get the picture. Actually, I'm going to drink the water. And when I drink the water, it says the glass is not full, so I have to fill the glass. So I'll pour the water, and I'm not holding the pitcher. So I'll get the pitcher. And now it says I can't carry more. I have to put something down. So now I'll put down the frog, put frog. Okay, I can see the frog now, and I'm no longer carrying the frog. And therefore, now I can get the pitcher. Now I've got the pitcher and the glass, and now I will pour the water. Sure enough, I have a full glass of water. So now I'll drink the water, but I can't because it's not proper to drink water inside the house. That's great. So now I will go west, which I happen to know puts me on the porch, which is outside, and I will drink the water now. And there it is. I just won the game. Yum. Delicious, cool, refreshing water. You did it. You won. So the basic idea when you make your own game is to make it a little bit of a puzzle, have, several different rooms or locations, if you would, an interesting map, a few interesting items you have to get. You have to get the items in a certain sequence to solve the problem, and you have to do something to an item that changes the nature of that item. Notice, for instance, this glass used to be empty, and the glass became full, and that was important to solving the problem. So something along that lines, and it's really nice if you can add cute little comments and, I don't know, something even funnier than anything I did here. Keep it light, keep it, fun and engaging. Don't go too overboard. Anyway, let's take a look at how this actually worked. Okay, so here's your game. I'm going to scroll way down here, and we're going to start at the bottom. Play simple game. This is the top level function that actually plays the game. And what we do is we create the rooms, a kitchen, porch, family room, and study. And so obviously we're going to have a room class. And when we create a room, we give it the name of the room. Wonderful. So up here we have a room class, and when we create a room, we give it the name of the room, and we store the name of the room. Great. Now down here, after we create the rooms, we make the map. The map tells us when you leave one room, where do you go? You do that by setting exits. So when you exit the kitchen to the west, you go to the porch. When you exit the porch to the east, you go to the kitchen. Of course, we could actually change these things if we wanted to, uh, but you'll make your own map. But this is how we'll do it. Now we need a set exit method. If you think about it, in order to set the exit of a room, rooms are going to have to somehow store all their exits. In this case, we're doing it in a simple way. There will be better ways we'll learn later when we learn about dictionaries. But for now, we're just going to have, when you create a room, it's going to have a list of exits, okay? And those are going to be 4 exits, north, south, east, and west. And we're just going to have to know that the indexes are 0, 1, 2, and 3. That's not the best design, but it'll do. Okay. And initially, the exits are all none. So when you create a room, there are no exits. But when you call set exit, you give it a direction name, north, south, east, or west, and then the room that's in that direction. The first thing we do is we convert the direction name into a direction. That's what get direction does. We make it lowercase, and then if it's either an N or north, we would return 0 because 0 is that index. By the way, if we run the game and we watch, if I say go N, actually go S for south, sure enough, that worked. I was able to go south. That's because the direction name could either be S or south. Okay, cool. And if I see this, sorry, I did not recognize the direction dir name. Sure enough, if I say go up, it'll say, sorry, I do not recognize the direction up, and that came from this line of code right here. Okay, so set exit converts a direction name into a direction, and then it goes in and sets the exit in that direction. Incidentally, some of this code could be more robustly written. It's just meant to be just enough to let you write your game. Don't worry about like every last possible error condition. All right, so that was set exit, and later on we'll see get exit, and get exit just looks up the exit. It sure enough converts the direction name like east into 2, and then so long as there is a direction, it goes ahead and gets the exit in that direction. Cool. Okay. So now we know how we put the map together. So now we have a map. So we also make some items. Okay, the pitcher, the glass, the frog, and then this is how you add an item to a room because kitchen is a room. So now we know that rooms have items, and sure enough, when we created the rooms, we created an items list. So a room initially has no items. And also we know we have an item class, find class item. When you create an item, you give it a name and a short name. And all we do is store those. So let's go back down here. And the name down here. So the name would be like a water pitcher, and the short name is pitcher. And empty glass. So this is the one that'll print when you see it. This is the one you need to use in your commands. Get glass, pour water, let's see, get pitcher, stuff like that. Okay, cool. So anyways, and now we see that we used, where are we here? Append to add the item that we created into the items of the room. Wonderful. So now we have rooms with exits and items. Create a game, give it a name, give it a goal, give it a room you start in, and give it this list of items. This list of items are the items that you're holding on to at the start of the game. If we go to the game class, which is the last class we have up here, okay. Wow, here we go, game class. You give it a name, a goal, a starting room, and starting inventory. The stuff that you're carrying is called your inventory, okay? And it's just a list of items. And of course, initially the game is not over. We also have a command counter. The reason for that is if you look down here when we play the game, each time we enter a command, it just has this counter that goes up by 1. That's just that we can look back through the history and keep track of where we are if we want to do that. Cool, okay? So anyway, so now we go down here and we play this game. So the first thing I want to talk about in terms of playing a game is moving around, okay? Motion. So go north, go south, and so forth. How do we handle down here go north? So when you type go north up in play game, let's go up here. When you play a game, what it does is it repeatedly, well, first off, it looks, which I'll talk about in a second. Okay. Then it gets the command like go north. Okay. And then to get a command, what do? We increase the command counter. We ask for your command. We get your response. If you give us no response, the response is help. We split it up into a verb and an object. Okay, the command or the verb is the first part. The object is the second part if there is a second part. If there is no second part, then it's just empty. And then we return a tuple, actually, although we left out the parentheses, with two values. The command, which is the verb, like go, and the target, which in this case is like north. But this could be like pour, water, this could be like, and so forth. Verb, subject. Cool, all right? So we set our command and target equal to that. And then we dispatch. This is called dispatching, where for different commands, we're going to call different methods, okay? And if the command was go, we'll call do go. And the target in this case is actually the direction. Okay. So now we have to look at do go. Do go. All right. So this is when you type things like go north, and dir name is in that case north. So what we have to do is we have to use that get exit method that we just talked about. Self.room is the room you're in right now. Self is the game. This is the game we're playing. Self.room is the current room of that game. Self.room.getExit gets the exit in that direction. Okay? Now, if it's none, that means you can't go in that direction. So right now, if I say go north, it says I'm in the kitchen, but if I say go north, it says, sorry, I can't go in that direction. That's this line of code here. Otherwise, all you have to do is update the game's room to that room that we found in that direction. That's it. We now have mobility, which is pretty cool. Okay, let's actually look at this line right here, do look, because the first thing I do, go south, now it prints out I am in the study, it prints this stuff out, where you are, the directions you can go, the things you can see, and the things you're carrying. That's all done by do look. So, which also, by the way, you could just say look, and it'll do the same thing. Okay, there it is. Cool, so let's look at do look. Here's do look. I am in, well, self.room is the room you're in, and every room has a name, so self.room.name is that name. The directions you can go, well, there's this get available dir names, which is a method in the room class, and it says, here's my available directions. I'll try every possible direction by name. I'll try to get the exit in that direction. If there is one, I'll just append it to the list of available directions. Okay, so can I go north? If it's not none, then yes, north, south, east, west. When I'm done, I'll have a list of the available directions. Okay, if there are none, I'll return the word none here. So it'll say I can go these directions, none. Otherwise, we have a list of strings, and I will join them with comma, and that way it comes out looking like this. Go north, and you get this nice comma separated list because of that comma space join. Cool. So now we're down here again. I can see these things. And all we do here is just print items of self-room items. Print items takes a list of items, and if it's empty, says nothing. Otherwise, we just turn it into a comma-separated list. This is interesting here, though. When you print an item, you want to print its item name, but we have a list of items, not item names. This is a great use of a list comprehension, which goes through all the items for each item in the list of items and replaces the item with its name, item.name. So whereas this is a list of items, this is a list of item names. All we then do is use join to make it a comma-separated single string. Pretty handy, actually, use of several of the things we just learned this week. Okay, cool. So now we're down here, and we're inside look again. So let's go down to do look. Okay, here's do look. And we were able to use print items twice. Once for the items in the room we're in, that's the things I can see. And a second time for the inventory, which is the stuff I'm actually carrying, which itself is also a list of items. So we're able to call print items on that as well. That's pretty handy, and that's how do look works. Excellent. So now I can look around, I can move around. Now I want to be able to get and put things. Well, this is pretty straightforward. If I'm in a room and I say get frog, I am now, I don't see it here because I'm holding it. I say put frog, and sure enough, I'm no longer holding anything, and there's the frog. So how did that work? Well, let's take a look. Okay, so we go up here, and of course, in the in play, we got the command put frog, and we split it out into two parts. And because the command is put, we call do put, and the target is frog. Same thing, get frog would be the command is get, target is frog. So now we'll come down to do put, okay, which is down here, do put. So you look for the thing you want to put, say the frog, we say find item, frog, inside the things I'm carrying, because I can only put things that I'm carrying. So find item has to go through this item list and find an item with this name. Let's find item. Okay, here it is. So you're given an item list. You check each item, and if its short name is the thing we're looking for, you return it. Otherwise, none means it wasn't there. Pretty straightforward. Okay, so we find it. If it's none, then you say, sorry, I'm not carrying that. Otherwise, take it out of the inventory and put it into the items of this room. Cool. Now, as for get, it's just the same thing in reverse. So for get, you don't check if it's in your inventory, you check if it's in the room's items. If it's not, then you can't get it because it's not here. Also, this is where we enforce that you can only carry two things, because if I'm carrying two items, I say I can't carry more. You obviously don't have to have this rule here, and if you didn't like it, you could just delete that or change this number to some other number. Great. Now here we can actually get it. This is the opposite of these two lines in put. All we do now is remove it from the current room's items and add it to the inventory list of items. That's it. So now we can get and put items. So now we're actually pretty close to done. So now let's look at just a couple more verbs here. For instance, how do we pour water? Well, to begin with, if you said pour water, what's interesting here is we're actually not even really, we're not really enforcing the item name here. I suppose you could pour anything here. Maybe we would probably want to actually verify that item name equals water here. In any case, this is how we make sure that the pitcher and the glass are around, that we have them both in our inventory. You can only pour the water if you have both the pitcher and the glass in your inventory. Okay. Oh, I lied, actually. We are enforcing water. If you don't say water, we say don't know how to pour that. Smart. Okay. Otherwise, if you're not carrying the pitcher, fail that way. Otherwise, if you're not carrying the glass, fail that way. This last test is interesting. The glass has to be empty according to the rules we've made. And we're going to use the glass's name itself to tell whether or not it's empty or full. If the glass's name contains full, like if I go here, I'll go south. There's an empty glass. That's the glass name, an empty glass. When I pour the water into the glass, we change its name to be a full glass of water. So we can check if it's full by saying if full is inside its name. Now that's not really the most sophisticated way to do this, and maybe we'd want to have added like something else here, like saying like glass is full is true, and that'd be better. For now, for this week, this is good enough. So we can actually just use the name itself to store the state. Okay, cool. So that's how we pour. And to drink, well, it's pretty straightforward. You can only drink if you have the glass. So that's if the glass is not none. You can only drink water, and we have a cute message that's yucky otherwise. The glass has to be full. This is the test here. And then we're going to force you to be in the porch. That's what we do here, saying this goofy thing that it's not proper to drink water inside. And you can invent stuff like this to make the game flow. That's just fine. And finally, this is how we won. You made it outside, you have the glass is full, you asked to drink the water. So sure enough, we say you won. And by setting game over to true, what that winds up doing is inside the gameplay loop up here, play. We keep playing so long as game over is false. So when we set game over to true, we're done with this loop, we print goodbye, and the game is over. That's it. That's how this code works. I hope that you followed all of this. You're certainly responsible for understanding all of this, answering the questions in the write-up, and then making your own fun, simple game. Don't go overboard. Actually, it's fine if you do. Have fun with this, but you don't have to go overboard. Just make a fun game that shows that you know how to use this kind of plumbing that we set up for you in the way intended. That's all. Have fun out there. Bye-bye.